1.20 has been out for a few days. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite feature in this update. Mine, of course, is the various bug fixes. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more features than bug fixes. Like, come on, Mojang, just put some effort into the description of these update notes. Like, come on. And another 2 minutes spent in the game, you could remove these useless RTX options. Like, I don't know why they're still in the game. It's 1.20. You cannot use RTX on mobile devices. Just hide these options on my settings. But in all seriousness, 1.20 is a really awesome update, a lot of new features, and my favorite feature has got to be the Sniffer.
Oh no, not again.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
A few of these shaders I have covered in 1.19, however, they still work in 1.20, so I'm doing this video to show you that these shaders are still functionable. The first shader we are showcasing is one which I haven't showcased before. It is a new shader called Chill Shader. This shader is amazing because it works on iOS, Android, and Windows 10. This shader has a lot of awesome features, and as you can see, it does look spectacular. The color tone looks amazing, and it is a very lovely shader. Away from the water, it doesn't lag as those clouds are not too heavy. They do look really awesome, those 3D cube clouds, and that sun is beautiful. Look at that, it has sun rays coming off the sun. It may be a fake sun ray, but as you can see, it just looks so realistic, and when you're moving around the sun, you can see the flares, and that is amazing. That is one of the best suns I have seen in a bedrock shader. When you go close to the water, you will notice some lag as the water is quite realistic. It has a unique wave on it which does look really realistic. It's seriously one of the best waters I have seen in a shader. It has the sun reflection, it even has the cloud reflections, and at nighttime it even has the star reflections. Another cool feature with this shader that it does have a end effect. When you go into the end, look in the skies, as you can see, is spectacular. A lot of stars, a lot of bright stars in the middle there which do look amazing. This shader also has some metallic reflections. As you can see, I've put some iron blocks out and you can see the sun and the clouds reflecting, which is awesome. And it even happens with the metallic ores such as copper and iron, which is really realistic. Now moving on to the next shader, which I have covered a bazillion times, which is YSSBE Shader, which still works in the latest version as all of these shaders do. YSSBE Shader is a very optimized shader, and if you are running a lower end device, I highly recommend checking out YSSBE, as the clouds are not too heavy, the water's not too heavy, and it is a very beautiful shader. The lighting and coloring in this shader is very saturated and just looks lovely. I really love the water reflections in this shader. The clouds are very obvious, the sun reflections is there, and at night time when the shooting comets going across the sky, you can even see those reflections in the water. This shader recently got updated to include a underwater effect, which is lovely. It has those wavy underwater feature, which is nice to see. It can be a little trippy when you're underwater for a little bit of time, but it does definitely add to the realism of this shader. The nighttime in this shader does look lovely. As I mentioned, it does have those shooting comets coming across the skies there, which is awesome. I really love this feature in this shader. It just adds to the atmosphere of the night lights. Moving on to another shader, which is ISPE Shader, which I have covered recently, and my goodness, you need a high-end device for this shader. I cannot run it on my iPad as I mentioned in my video on this shader, so I'm using gameplay from the creator. This shader has so many features. It is amazing. Those clouds, those Bicubic clouds look so realistic and awesome. The water reflection, the overall shader looks very nice. I really wish I could run this shader, but it is significant laggy and buggy on my iOS device on my iPad. It may work on your iOS device. Let me know in the comments if you're on iOS and trying it out, but I think it's more for Android and Windows 10 on a higher end device. Now moving on to another shader I have recently covered, which is KMPE, which still works in 1.20. This shader also has a version for 1.18.12 and below, so if you are still rocking that non-rendered dragon version, this shader will work. I did a video on this shader. As you can see, I'm just being a bit lazy and using my own gameplay. As you can see, just some bit of cinematics here and there. This shader, I did notice that the clouds on iOS was quite buggy and it just didn't work. So if you're on iOS and the clouds are really not looking so great and it's just all pixelated and messy, just turn off beautiful skies and you can enjoy this shader for the water, as the water looks so real and awesome. It looks like a rendered water, which does look spectacular. Now moving on to the final two shaders in today's video, I will admit these do not work on iOS, so I cannot test it, but I'm assuming they still work in 1.20. This is Bicubic Shader and Bicubic Shader Lite. I wanted to touch base on this shader as the creator is actually updating his shader. I will throw a couple of screenshots on the screen and I cannot wait for it to release. Hopefully the creator can make it work for iOS so I can do a video on it. But for now, this version of Bicubic Shader only works on Android and Windows 10. The first version of Bicubic Shader is the full higher version of the shader. As you can see, it has some very lovely clouds. The water looks spectacular with those reflections and that it just looks awesome. The sun reflections, cloud reflections. The coloring in Bicubic Shader is amazing, especially when it goes into a sunset. It just has those real nice tint of color and it just looks spectacular. And that goes for the same for Bicubic Lite. When there is that sunrise, sunset, it just looks spectacular. If you are using a lower end device, use Bicubic Lite as it doesn't change the water. It has a water wave, but it doesn't have any of those reflections on the water, which does include lag. The clouds in the Lite version definitely still look awesome and realistic. The Lite version also has glowing ore and a couple of other awesome features, such as the wavy leaves, which does have an amazing animation. One of the best animations for the wavy leaves, so definitely recommend checking out the Bicubic Shader. All the links in the description if you do want to check it out. Make sure you follow the creators on their channels, Discord, Twitter, what they've got in the description, because the creators are still updating their shaders, and as 1.20 is out, they're going to be still updating it, and hopefully Mojang have secretly added shader support into their code, and maybe, who knows, we might get some resource pack shaders. But for now, Android does require the modified APK version, which you can download from the creators Discord in the description. If you are on iOS like myself, you do require a jailbroken device still, as you need to modify the Minecraft files, which you cannot do without a jailbroken device. As mentioned, I will link tutorials in the description below, so make sure you check them out if you want to install shaders in 1.20. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. I will see you in the next one, and a peace.